So now we get to the point of we have a pretty comprehensive list of keywords, potential keywords, if you've done everything Danny's mentioned. Now, how do you decide which ones do you choose? So when it comes down to choosing keywords, it really comes to three qualities you're looking for. You're looking for high search volume, low competition, and intent. So if you think about high search volume and relevance, or low competition, high competition, you're going to have lots of different things. So
cool. So to go a little bit deeper, let's take a look at the graphics on the slide so that we can get an idea of how search volume and competition work hand in hand. So we can see in the quadrant in the top right corner, that's a scenario where there's a lot of search volume, but it's also very competitive. These are going to be keywords that are high value because a lot of people are searching for them, but they're going to be difficult to rank for. Now let's move over to the left of that, where keywords that have a lot of search volume, but there's low competition, those are going to be the easy, high value keywords. And you can imagine that keywords like those, there might not be a lot of them, right? Because if they have so much volume, why is there low competition? But you can see that's what we have a start. If you can find some of those unicorn keywords, those would be amazing because it wouldn't be too hard to rank for them, but when you do rank for them, you'll get a lot of traffic. Now let's move to the bottom right corner, which is keywords that have a lot of competition, but have low search volume. You might say, hey, if it has a lot of competition, why is there low search volume? I like to give examples of, let's say, law firms, where like you've got specific like mesothelioma or asbestos, some of these like really crazy, terms where, not a lot of people have that issue, but the people who do have those issues, all the law firms are going to try to be number one for that. And those are obviously going to be hard to do, and those keywords don't necessarily apply to every single industry. And then finally, our last quadrant at the bottom left, we have keywords that have a low search volume, but they have low competition. These are going to be keywords that are ideally the ones that you're going to, focus on in the beginning, where yes, you might not get a lot of individual traffic from each keyword, but to rank for them is going to be relatively easy. This will fall in line with long tail keywords, which we will discuss in a moment. Now let's move on to intent. So yes, so now we've got keywords and we're determining, do a lot of people search for them? Are they difficult or easy to rank for? But the third aspect that you need to look at right now is the types of keywords that you're looking at. Different keywords apply to different stages of the buying cycle. When someone types a keyword into Google, are they ready to buy your service, or are they just shopping, or are they browsing? So often when you're looking at your list of keywords, you need to determine, what stage of the cycle is this keyword targeting? And based off of that, it's going to help determine what sort of content you should write, but also what you should focus on, right? And in the beginning, you may want to focus specifically on the buyers, right? When people are specifically ready to buy, and less on the shopping related keywords. So
for an example, shopper, browser, buyer, shopper might be, should I get an MBA? Or why should I get an MBA? A browser might be, where should I get my MBA? And then a buyer would be, how do I afford an MBA, right? Like those could be sort of the three different types of categories. And you can tell the intent of the person based on the query.
Yes.
So this is a fun game we like to play in our class. It's choose the keyword with the highest search volume. And we have three choices: cooking, cooking recipes, and cooking games. Now, Danny, has there ever been a class where cooking games has won the popular vote for highest search volume?
Never. And it's not just a class, but any time. I think I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years, and literally everyone gets the wrong answer.
Right. So the answer is cooking games. And this is why keyword research is fundamental. Because even Danny and I were fooled by this the first time we saw this stat. And we thought, how could that be? Well, just because you think something makes sense does not always mean it makes sense, right? So we actually have to go back and confirm our suspicions. And it's a good thing we do because we don't want to rank highly for their own keywords. That's why doing your research is fundamental for every project you work on.
So that huge list of keywords that we put together, first step here is let's figure out what is the search volume for each one of these keywords to start figuring out which ones should we go after, which ones we should not go after. Now, the second aspect of keywords, like we spoke about, is competition. So how do we determine competition? What does it mean, competitiveness?
Isn't that the number of sites that are up? No, it's not. I'm kidding. I know this. But a lot of people are tricked in thinking like, wow, look at this search engine marketing agency. There's 36 million pages with search engine. How do you compete, Danny? 36 million pages. That's not the way we do judge competition.
Right, so rather the way that we do judge competition is we're solely looking at the first page of Google, and we're looking at the 10 or 11 websites that show up there. I like to kind of compare it to a country club. Just like a country club, if you wanted to join and enter, you might have to have a certain net worth, you might have to drive a certain car, same concept. When we look at the first page of Google, we need to analyze all the different websites and see, are these websites that have been around a long time? Do they have a lot of links? How strong, how much authority do they have? And then look at my own website and say, how much authority or links do I have? And then based off of that, we can say, oh, it will be easy for me to get onto the first page or a little bit harder. And we will determine this for every individual keyword and for every individual page that we're trying to rank on our website. So in this, in this example, this is using Moz Toolbar. It's an old tool. This feature is not available anymore, but it gives you the idea that if I type in card swipe and pin entry time clocks, it provides the difficulty score in yellow, and that shows how easy or hard would it be to rank for this keyword from a scale of 1 to 100. So if this had a 1% difficulty score, then it would be really easy. If it had 100, it would be relatively hard for me to rank for this keyword. And we'll talk more about competition in the next slides. Here's a screenshot from Ubersuggest, where for every keyword that you search for Ubersuggest, you can click on it and it will open up a window and show you the 10 to 12 and more websites that are already ranking for that phrase. And you can see that here they provide you with the estimated visits, how much social shares, and then the domain score, which is sort of the strength or the power of that web page. Now, based off of everyone who's on the first page, you can see here they're saying that this keyword that we look for, oil and gas marketing, is easy to rank for, and there's about an 85% chance that you will be able to rank for it. Now, the question is, do I need a 99% chance that I should rank for it? Should I have a 75% chance? So here we really have to talk about relativity. We have to compare one keyword to the next. We can't just look at one keyword, on its own. When I've got two keywords, one is easier to rank for, one is harder to rank for, then let me go for the easier one. But it's very difficult to judge easiness or hardness on its own without comparing one keyword to the next. So in order to figure out difficulty, and also for search volume, there are different tools that you're going to need. A lot of the keyword research methods that we showed you in earlier slides just generate phrases for you. But to get the search volume data and the competitive data, you need to use a tool. So we have Ubersuggest, like we spoke about, SEMrush and Moz. Those are going to be paid tools. KW Finder and KeywordTool.io, I think, have like their freemium, right? So there's a free version, a paid version. But when it comes to this level, you are going to have to use some sort of tool in order to go deeper.
And it probably is worth paying for the tool, because if you try to combine different tools, you'll see different metrics being used, and sometimes there's a little bit difference in the statistics between the two.
And what I like to tell people who don't have a large budget, so maybe do all your keyword research in 1 month, right? And you'll just buy a month subscription. You don't have to buy a year subscription.
Definitely, you can get this done in a month.
And so we spoke about volume, we spoke about competition, here's searcher intent. Just to give you an example, if someone is searching for best flannel sheet sets, that could be more of an informational query. And therefore, when you're looking at Google, what is Google going to show? Is it going to show a product page, or is it going to show a blog post or an article? Most probably a blog post. While some keywords are more purchase intent. I want a queen size flannel sheet set, and that's a product page. So this shows you, number one, that keywords will they have different types of intent, but also in Google's perspective, Google will show different content depending on what the intent is. So if you're trying to rank for queen size flannel sheet set with a blog post, that might not work because Google's showing product pages. And vice versa. If you're trying to rank for best flannel sheet sets with your product pages and you don't have a blog which describes it, you may not be able to rank for that keyword.
Important question. Flannel sheets in Houston, Danny? Nothing. Just saying. All right, so long tail keywords, we really like to focus on long tail keywords for a few reasons. Basically, a long tail keyword is a phrase of 3 or more words that are related to your main keyword, but they have less traffic associated with it. So if you think about, if you went back and watched the Australian SEO video, the I want to rank #1 on Google, it's I want to rank #1 on Google for credit cards. Now, that would be a very, very hard term to rank first for on Google. So you have to start thinking, like, what are some phrases that I can rank for? It might be best travel card for students. It might be best credit card to get if I'm getting my first credit card. What, what is the process for getting a new credit card? These are all longer tail keywords that involve the credit card phrase or the credit card keyword, but they involve other words related to it and have less traffic associated with it.
So we don't want to be afraid to add long tail keywords to our list, because these are phrases that, they're going to have a lot less competition, but they have a lot more precise intent. And therefore, if I do rank for one of them, then I'll get really good intent sort of searchers. And I like one other example I could give. It's kind of like fishing. You may going for that, not long tail, but a short keyword. It's kind of like fishing for a shark with a fishing rod, which could be difficult, but you could do it. Rather, what we want to do is we want to take a fishing net, and in that fishing net, we might get a lot of little fish, but a whole net full of little fish is going to feed a lot more people than one big fish, and that's kind of the idea that we're trying to accomplish here.
That is into some of the benefits of targeting long tail keywords. Obviously, the longer the keyword, the less competition there is associated with that keyword. These keywords long tail keyword searches account for over 70% of all search queries, and they tend to be used by people about to buy something.
And there's another fact that I think like 30% of search queries, is it a day or a month, are new queries that never even existed before. And a lot of those queries fall within the long tail world, which is kind of interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah.